So I'm sharing today about being in recovery in terms of welcoming, acceptance, abundance, kind of the versus like bonding, positive bonding versus cheating, like getting away with it, like being our real self, really. So we get along or move along, and we can admire ourselves when we are and inspire ourselves. There's something called and there's the attitude, which is our angle of approach on how we're going to go about it. So when we're not parentifying or needing approval or agreement, and there's a quiet knowing in the gut of what's right for us, and we don't exclude others to preserve our own place, there's honesty and humility and gratitude, which starts to come in and actually heals us. It's a prepared feeling, so like we start to maintain by giving ourselves enough so we don't end up hungry. We can look at motivations for change and role of chaos, or whether it's a quick change. We can say, I like what my problems are today versus what they used to be. And looks do matter, and looks also don't matter. They matter, we have to cover up so the wrong person doesn't want me. I have to cover up so the wrong person won't want me. That's something I used to work with, which is like where I looked at my weight gain as a security blanket, as an armor, and looks don't matter, so I can be noticed in other areas that do matter to me. I remember also my mother was trying to protect and guide me. She hired this man who was not a therapist to hold me down, and it was very humiliating. And I'd like to look at it like I'm not really a victim. Rather, I want to see how it was in my best interest to be, like what I really needed was to be held by my mother, kissed, hugged. Instead, she hired someone to hold me down so I couldn't move. And when I look at negative bonding, I see the argumentative streak, saying no while going toward, versus loving existence, which is free choice, not transactional, like a loving poison ivy that we don't touch, like a loving of the poison ivy that we don't touch. Still, we must feel safe, but we could love it without actually, we don't have to hate poison ivy. We don't go out of our way to deal with it. It's just there, and we allow it. Then I remember I thought about also when I would gain, and this is going back many years, like 5 years ago, it was a phase, but now I am back in that phase. So it was like holding myself back, or afraid of being a copycat, paranoid that people want to harm me, or not humans, or being a friend to someone who someone can go to, yet not coming to friends. Like, I wasn't bonding in a positive way. I even would say positives like they're negative, or trust people who disappointed and hurt me. So I was not able to recognize what was poison ivy and what wasn't. And I remember the gaining of the weight was like making it harder to be held down. Like I was too big and too heavy to be held down. Aggressively confronting others with my trauma, not welcoming criticism that's constructive, or even someone saying prayers on my behalf, even trying to put doubts in someone, like because they were doing what I didn't want them to do, or they weren't going to be around for me anymore. And actually today I kind of did that with somebody. I was like wanting him to second guess himself moving back to Israel, because I don't want him to leave. But it's not up to me. And he did sort of say, like, it's not exactly your business. I want to do this, kind of. He was trying to blame someone. I said, that's really bothering me. Like, I want you to just take accountability for what you want. Anyway, not loving people where it's hard to love them, and forcing myself to love them, or being overly responsible in my childhood that shed all the responsibility. Later, rather finding the middle ground. And when I don't give it to God, I end up taking pride or arrogance, like it's me, rather than, and even using power over others, or engaging with the people who make me feel like they're destroying my life. And rather, I could start with real connection and honesty instead of avoiding with the fear, or making someone else responsible for my happiness, or not accommodating the baby steps or small milestones, like where I actually see the work I'm doing without saying it's all me, like sort of looking at God as the partner. And then in a relationship, there's a third partner, there's another human, but I shared this with someone today, there's not enough two humans. Like there are days where like you're really mad at your husband and you go to the store and if someone's hitting on you, it's very tempting, but actually it's God that keeps you, it's the commitment, it's the love that keeps you in the relationship. And then it's the guy, he's like, his wife's making him crazy and he's so angry, and then he goes out and it's like God that keeps him in the relationship and not going to the other woman. So having awareness for demands and expectations instead of just observing the demands and expectations rather than just being a slave to them. And for me, what does the word cheating come up? Like cheating on a diet, cheating in a relationship, because I mentioned that just now. So it's like sugarcoating, beating around the bush, eating. For me, it was like eating dairy, or only like, not that I shouldn't eat any dairy, but like I was actually very vegetarian vegan at the time. So at that time, it was kind of cheating on my veganism. Only associating with people I have a lot in common with, or who I know will like me, not asking the difficult questions that will give me information I need for decisions that others otherwise felt impossible. And now welcoming. So in terms of positive bonding is space, right? So seeing the pain was good for me, like with that guy, Yisrael Kaplan, who used to hold me down in that therapy, making space for the other, each together making space for each other, like a canopy. Their gap is a gift of other. That's where we grow. If we try to overlap and touch everything, there's no room to grow. So I grew so much when I wasn't welcomed also as well, even though in some ways not being welcomed, I would say at that time when I wrote this, I felt like it severely retarded my social ability, my intimacy ability. I realized also when I look back, my sisters always told on me, my mother nitpicked together, propelled me, all of them, having others go against me. I was sensitive to tension of opposites. It was unbelievably taxing to have to always hide and defend and prove my innocence and righteousness. And my coat of many colors, my fur pelt like I'm a lion, bloomed from doomed, planted seeds grow in a dead wood. Territorialism with time is possible, feeling like my time wasn't my own, and just not trying to control other people's time. And weather is a gift of my body because it knows how to use the energy. Immunity through, basically, don't fight it, just feel it. Like, the feelings are there, don't fight it, just feel it. There was immunity through the people around me that, like, I'm thinking of Feliz, Yankee Pigeon, Asya, Ahuva, Meira, Rachel Zar, about drug use. Like, I didn't want to do the drugs they did. I didn't want to go down that path. And even giving up weed, I saw, means seeing what I can feel I can get through without it. And it's many times that I used weed as a medicine, and I don't use it now, but I wouldn't judge someone for using it. I was in so much pain, and also I was so ashamed of my appetite. I used to, a lot of the time, eat to fill up and to not hurt, but also just to feel stable, to feel like heavy, to feel like grounded, because I felt like the stable income without a changing lifestyle could be possible, but I didn't access it yet. So I was welcoming in a lot of new energies. And then when I was thinking, like, what do I really want deeper? Finances, love, health, freedom, bliss, spiritual growth. And there was this woman, Christie Mary Sheridan, and we did like this meditation, like attract, grow, keep. So healthcare, food, teachers, mentors, counselors, educational opportunities, give to the community, invest in physical, mental, emotional, energetic growth. So attract, keep, and grow. Okay, so bring it in, keep it, and then it grows. I'm happy with my current job. I get paid. So these are things I said, which may or may not have been true at the time, and I have a feeling they weren't. And some of these don't feel like I really made even too much progress. Like maybe I made progress for years, but then I'm in a hiccup with some of these. So, or I'm in like a restarting phase or a change. I'm in transitions. So I'm happy with my current job. These are affirmations really more than anything. In order to get the freedom to experience love and help and share resources is using money for good things. And then remembering like money is easy to get and not creating realities where it feels like it's not. And being myself on a solid income is possible if I do what I love, versus the blocks, which are like the only way to get to success is hard work, or love of money is the root of all evil. Seeing money itself as a symbol becomes the shell addiction. Like anxiety holds us back from money because it's about responsibility. Like, oh my gosh, how will I manage my money? Will there be more taxes? Will I need to get a new account? And the blocks are like, the world is not a safe place, can't get better. Job is something I choose to do that creates value as I push myself, my life force and energy into it. So sometimes it was like I lost myself. Sometimes it was like I wasn't growing. But when we remember, I deserve happiness, flow, and life energy. That's what abundance is. And it gives me life energy back. That's what a livelihood is when we have a job. That's sustainable. What we put life force energy into, we can get back from safely, lovingly. So some of the affirmations are, I'm happy with my current job. I get paid for doing what I love. I deserve abundance in all areas of my life, and I have the skills and talents to provide great value to others. I feel supported on my path to success, and I have a step-by-step action plan for abundance. I can be successful and abundant and still have balance in my life, and I'm making more and more money as I grow in my career and business. Finances don't cause stress in my social life or family life, and I'm satisfied with my current level of abundance. Previous abandonment feelings in this area for me were myself, my own self, the world, and God. Money is a natural supportive loving energy that comes from source, manifested through people. Our needs include monetary needs. They can be supplied, and causes can be supported. Crisis response is no longer necessary when we cultivate a less chaotic lifestyle in a sustainable way. And the universe, when it keeps showing blocks where we may associate money with discomfort and fears and unlovability, for me, it was worth it to look at it. So I reflected, and this is what I got out of it. And I recommend you do the same. Find your money blocks. So money requires very hard work versus like that I'll get my own portion. A lot of money can't be made quickly versus my own appropriate pace that it has for me. People only like my money versus me believing the real me is likable, and I don't want to not earn money or lose weight because then people may not like or be the real me. And then of course being afraid rich people are greedy versus money just amplifies who I am. Like if I'm greedy, I'm greedy. If I'm not, I'm not. And money just amplifies. It does. If I'm generous, I'll use the money to be generous. If I'm greedy, I'll use the money to be greedy. Finally, we're talking here a lot about abundance, but then also what we're doing is and welcoming, and this is more like right side of the brain. But then I'm also bringing in the left side. Negative bonding is like cutting, negating. Cheating is like finding a way out. Like, so one is like growth and one is like constriction. So in Kabbalah, we call this Gevura and Chesed. Chachma, Chesed, and Netzach. These are all like expansive quality, pushing forward, opening. And then this side is like Bina, understanding. It like cuts in, it penetrates. And Gevura and Hod. So music, you, yes, no. This is right side of the brain. Expressing, living, having a stroke of the left side, the right side of the body. Like if someone has a stroke on the right side of the body, on the right side of the brain, it goes to the left side of the body. Love, there was a man that I learned this from 18 years post, it was a miracle he survived. And if doing physical therapy, he could stand and even walk with a few steps. He held an egg to keep the palm from closing. He could express other in speech therapy, and he learned acceptance of limitations in therapy, and he used laughing and play. And it was in 1999 that, and he would say things like, Jesus Christ as an expletive, cheering, he would say shit, he would say Mike, his own name, and left side of the brain characteristic and attention seeking, craves validation, multiple failed relationships, attachment, judgmental, divisive. And if only you could see how I wrote it, the way I wrote on the left and the right side of the brain. This is the left side of the brain. You could see it's very sharp. And this is the right side of the brain. It's very soft and round. And it's still this, I'm the same person. So we could see even when we're doing a meditation, it's like took advantage of compassion, people-pleasing, appearance, possession, home, form, stonewalling, humiliating, ostracizing, rejection, unbelonging, and like I said, negative bonding, unable to integrate, insecure, paranoid, anxious, shamed, defective, unable to affirm or reassure, trust the self, interpreting external information only from the outside, objectifying, abusive, controlling, dehumanizing, basically dehumanizing. This is all showing us it's like taking away the humanity. So we need both sides. We need to be like not attached, and also so there needs to be like that space that Gab talked about, but also like there needs to be enough touch, enough connection. So it's room to grow, but also connection. Wish you well. Bye.